So this morning I had an argument with an old friend who will remain nameless, that I knew from back when I was a Christian. And she was an atheist like I am now, but to the best of my knowledge, she wasn't a skeptic or anything. She still is an atheist to the best of my knowledge, but she also believes, happens to believe in even spirits and psychic powers. I have reason to believe he joined the New Age movement or some variant thereof. I'm not going to armchair this though. Instead, I'm going to respond to her objections to my skepticism, because this got pretty heated, and I was sleep deprived, so I couldn't think straight. Anger makes you stupid too, so there's that. Anyway, this discussion gives me the chance to say everything I think about the subject of skepticism. So let's go. One of her objections was that skepticism was negative, and that it was only concerned with debunking everything, believing nothing. I responded, informing her that such is not the case. Skepticism is a tool that's used to distinguish truth from falsehoods. There are some things that are neither. The reason there are some that are neither is because they are simply unknowable, at least presently. Those that believe nothing, that is, lack belief in absolutely everything, are morons and are doing it wrong. That's called radical skepticism. And it's a position that makes skepticism meaningless. Frankly, I don't even think such a position is even possible. She tells me most skeptics are angry people. And I pointed out to her that most of the skeptics I know, myself included, are not generally angry people. She's right to some degree, though. There are a few skeptics I've encountered on YouTube that appear to be angry, but not all skeptics are angry people. And those that aren't all angry for no reason. I'm not angry because I wasn't angry because I was a skeptic. I was angry because she was strawmanning skepticism itself. And you know what? Strawman and fallacies are just plain irritating. She says I place too much weight on physical evidence, which is exactly as negative, whatever that means as placing too much weight on the Bible. In response to the way I rejected Christianity. Let me tell you why this is a false analogy. The weight I put on any sort of evidence has real consequences on my beliefs, and my beliefs themselves have real consequences, for the most part. This is why I care about having true beliefs. Physical evidence is one of the most reliable forms of evidence. The Bible is not evidence, hence the Bible is an unsubstantiated claim that requires evidence. Considering the self-contradictory nature of the book, I firmly believe that at finding evidence that supports the Bible in its entirety is unfathomable. She also says that I'm easily influenced, and whether that's true or not is irrelevant. But let's say for the sake of argument that I am easily influenced, and that actually helps my case. If I'm so easily influenced, that makes skepticism that much more important. I really was easily influenced for most of my life. To some extent, I still might be. But that's why I choose skepticism. I choose skepticism because I'm tired of being lied to. Be able to distinguish bullshit from reality. With regards to her own personal beliefs, she tells me to open up my mind to the spiritual world, whatever that means. I'm going to address her directly here. Why would I ever do that? How could I do that? The most I could do is pretend to do that. Believing it could be real, that is, remaining agnostic, perhaps relegating it to metaphysics, and accepting it out of hand are two very different things. If you're asking me to do the latter, I can't afford to do that anymore. I could fall into another religion if I did that, and potentially destroy myself in the process. Believing it because you say so is not how reality works. That's how religion works. That's how pseudoscience works. In the pursuit of truth, you keep these things to yourself, save them for philosophy or metaphysics, or reject them immediately. I choose to remain agnostic to the supernatural. Well, such things are truly unknowable, and frankly, I look to matters of the supernatural with relative apathy. If you believe the supernatural can exist, the burden of proof is on you to show that it can. And it's not the burden of proof is not on me to show that the supernatural does not exist. Seriously, what would evidence for that even look like? The most I could do is point out that your logic is flawed or that your definitions are incoherent. And but that's not that's not for absolute certainty that it does not exist. There's a sort of dramatic irony to using skepticism on itself. The problem, my friend, is that skepticism used on itself proves to be a fruitless endeavor, or because it would just be completely meaningless. It does nothing. This is perfectly analogous to trying to use the scientific method on the scientific method, trying to falsify the scientific method with itself. Well, this is also analogous to trying to use logic to refute the concept of logic itself. Well, that it doesn't work that way. Seriously. If this keeps up, I don't see how I could ever or hold a meaningful conversation with anyone who thinks this way.